Okay. What measures do you take to make sure that team members have the necessary resources to complete their work? As a Scrum Master, you're responsible for ensuring things are removed out of the way of the team. Not necessarily removing them, but ensuring it happens. And at times that's going to be tooling, technologies. Heck, I've had teams that have just struggled with stationery. So what you need to do as a first step is always work out, is this something that the team can solve? If we, as a Scrum team, can we sit down and solve it? If so, work with them, work out how to move forward. And actually, very often, particularly for technical things, it is. And if it's not, we need to take it forwards because we can't solve it. We're part of that Scrum team. We need to take it forwards and find somebody, probably a stakeholder or a senior leader or something in the organization, who can solve it for us. Okay? So we are not necessarily going to be going out and fixing stuff. This is, I'm not going to say a myth because actually it used to be what we would teach. It's very much what I was taught as a Scrum Master in the early days, was you're responsible for fixing stuff. But we've got a bit of a nuance. We've moved on from that and said our role is to help the team develop self-management skills, learn how to do it itself. So we are going to work with that team. So it's an interesting one. When they don't have the tools, what can we do? First of all, as I said, sit down with the team, talk to them, okay? And understand, is it something they can fix? Maybe there's a server that they can spin up and that will all be good. Maybe Post-its was one of the teams and they just went down the shop and bought some more and expensed it and it was all fine. And they didn't need to go and find somebody and put an order in and blah, blah, blah. They just realized actually it's far simpler. And great, the team is a little bit better. It may seem trivial, but they are a bit better because the next time they need Post-its, they're just going to go buy them. But for those big things, how do we as Scrum Masters ensure that those impediments get unblocked? How do we ensure that the team have the things they need to do their job? What you're going to have to do is rely on that rapport you've built with people, the influence you have. My first step is always work with the team. Who is it we need to influence and how best do we as a team influence them? You'll notice again, we're trying to put skills into that team around self-management. It's not going to be me going off and doing something. It's going to be us. Okay? I may be the representative. I may take the slide deck forward that explains what it is that's missing and why it matters. And because I, as the Scrum Master, am the person who should be disrupted to go and do these things. But we as a team craft that message. So when you're sat there thinking, what is it I need to do? How do I get this team those tools? Sit down with them. Only takes 10 minutes. What is it we need? Why does it matter? Can we solve it ourselves? And if we can't, who can? And how do we talk to them? Okay. As the Scrum Master, then, of course, you are likely the best person to go and talk to them. Go and have that conversation. Impress on them the need. Okay? And this is where I differ from a lot of people that I've worked with over the years. Don't stop there. Don't turn up and say, this is what I want, and expect it to happen. You are one person, one team of many, okay? All competing for these people's time, their interest. Is it important? Of course it is. But you don't know how important all the other stuff is. So don't assume they'll just fix it for you. Instead, what I tend to do is ask them when it's likely to get done. And if it's going to take for a long time, what can I do to help them get it done sooner? Okay? So I'm going to make an offer to aid them in some way. Okay? I've ended up facilitating workshops for them. I've ended up doing things that aren't in my team because in doing that, that leader now has the time to go and solve the problem for my team. I also happen to build better rapport with them, a better relationship, get a bit of favour in the bag so that in the future when something happens, I've got some bit more influence in that conversation. And for me, this is a really vital part of the Scrum Master, of the Agile coaching role, is build relationships, build it with people. You're not going out of your way to do it selfishly. This isn't about self-orientation. This is thinking, what is it that I can do to help the team and the organization? How can I help that person? Genuinely help them. Right? Because what's great is they'll reappear and they'll ask you, can you help with this workshop now as well? And if your team is running well, of course you can. You can go and help them. Because our role is not only team focused. We have that organizational piece. And we can use the problems that arise in the teams as springboards to open up conversations in different areas of the business to help them, to help the organisation be better, as well as our team. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.